Steve and Nick from Devoured Death Scene. Welcome to Nightbreed. How are you two?
G'day. Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. So, you guys are in different parts of the country, right? Whereabouts are you, Stephen?
I'm down in Victoria, in Geelong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where are you at, Nick?
I'm in Brisbane.
Oh, there you go. And I'm in sunny WA. So there you go.
I used to live in WA when I was a kid. It's a really good place.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, even. Yeah, I grew up here, still here. Yeah. So I guess my first question is, what prompted you two to start a death metal zine? Like, what was the first thing that made you go, "I've got to do that"?
Well, I guess there might be two parts to this
Okay.
answer, because I suppose there's the start of the zine, and then there's how Nick and I came, to work together on it.
Cool. Yeah.
So
All
I
right.
did the first issue in 2006, issue one, and it was at a time when zines were pretty much dying. Everything was moving over to web zines. And, I wanted to do a zine for a long time, but just, I don't know, for whatever reason, didn't get around to it. I thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
I was doing cut and paste for issue one. I was going down to Office Works. It took me a while to do it, just making all the borders and everything myself. It was a lot of fun, but I just wanted to give something back to the scene. I just really liked reading fanzines and listening to demos and trading and stuff. And I used that for trading materials myself and got to interview some really cool bands. It was a lot of fun. I think in issue one I had
Your Mortal Sin in the first issue. That was what I was
yeah,
excited about.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then I had a friend of mine, George, was helping me with the zine back then as well. So we did Mortal Sin, Iron Angel, Shackles, Excarnated, Grave Miasma, Excoriate, Crucified Mortals. But as the zine started getting out there, I noticed postage fucking sucked. So I guess worldwide people just weren't doing letters anymore. So postal service was jacking up their price for everything. And what started off being something fun started to be a real drain. I didn't have a lot of money then. So it was just a decision, do I want to keep pushing myself to do something that cost me a shitload? And I wasn't getting a lot from it either, in terms of, I don't know, I found the scene was in a real decline as well. I don't know if it was other people's experience, but in 2006, it was, death metal was definitely, past its prime, and it was in a bit of a lull. Black metal was sort of dying out as well. And I don't know, I just couldn't really find the stuff that was working for me, that was happening in the scene. So I decided to give it up. I didn't want to do a web zine. I still don't. I never want to do a web zine. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, I just thought, I reckon I'll do it again, but this time with more realistic expectations, not really caring if it's going to be a big hit, not really caring if it's going to move a lot of copies, just don't give a shit, just do something fun, do it for me.
Yeah.
And so I did number 2 and number 3, and that's how I got to know Nick. We just started emailing each other. I think Nick got some copies, and I guess Nick, you can tell it from here, but that's how we just got in touch.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was a fan and a reader, and Steve and I just started emailing, and then eventually he hit me up and asked me to come on board. And then I saw the list of what he was intending on getting done for issue 4, and it was just love him, love him, love him, love him. Fuck yeah, I want to do this. And yeah, get along really well together as well. Steve's a great dude.
Yeah.
Fun to work with.
Awesome. No, good to hear, man. So how do you decide when it comes to the interview or review side of things? How do you guys decide who's going to interview or review what? Like, do you have a fight over Noel on that one, or is it kind of pretty easy going?
Kind of, yeah. Like we both give each other the opportunity to do the bands we're really into, but then most of the bands we're both really into. As I said, when I saw the list that Steve wanted to do, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to do them, and so that's why we end up splitting so many.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, I don't like to do everything by myself. I like that Nick, does some interviews by himself without me, and vice versa. But when it comes to reviews, I mean, it's just a free for all, really. I mean, just just review whatever.
Fill space.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. When it comes to interviews, I'd like for issue 4. I wasn't going to tell Nick who he can and can't interview, and it'll be the same for the next one. Interview whoever he wants. Maybe he wants to interview, I don't know, some shit poser band. I might veto it, but I don't anticipate that being a thing. So I find the sharing, works out quite well, and we give each other opportunity as well to contribute to various interviews. So. If I'm doing one, I'll let Nick know, and and he can join in, or he could say, that's all right, I'll leave that one to you, and vice versa.
Cool. And yeah, you sort of touched on it before about office work. So that scan you sent me of issue 3, it really looks like the proper cutout. You stick it on the page. Is that what you're doing? What's the setup there, like?
It's literally that. I'll type it all out, format it. I'll get some pages. I'll divide, gives a look, I'll cut them in half, the pages, and then I'll just start sticking everything on there. In fact, I might even be able to get you one of them now.
Cool. Yeah.
These are the flyers. Like, it's literally like going back to preschool. So these are the flyers.
Oh, yeah.
The original of the flyers, where I'll just, so it's not like Photoshop. I'll literally just get the shit, put the picture next to the words and just scan it, and that's it. And that's how I like the look of it as well. A lot of it is intentionally rough, and intentionally off center and not exactly stuck there. Like, I'll literally get the paste, like I'm in preschool again, and I'll just whack it on just one go. There's none of this like, oh, hang on, I've got to get just fuck it, just chuck it on, it's all good.
Yeah,
there's a lot of healthy glue snipping happening at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. It tastes good as well.
Beautiful.
Incarnated solid abuse.
Yeah. Well, I guess, in this age of AI and all that bullshit, it's kind of nice to see something still being made with 2 hands, or you know what I mean? Like,
classic back cover for any thrash metal album. The collage. I mean, that's the rough nature of it. That's why it looks cool. It touches on that 14, 15-year-old looking at extreme metal for the first time.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. That's cool. Same with me and mates have talked about this before too, like the alignment of the names of songs on old 80s ones. It's like a bit off, like, it's kind of cool. Like, it's like, yep, that nothing else looks like that. That has its own thing,
3 different font types and heights.
Yeah.
And the good thing as well about, having like an underground fanzine is that, there's no this copyright shit. I literally I'll just steal whatever the hell I want. Just whack it on there. I'll find pictures, images, and just chuck it on there. But I imagine if you're doing something more official online, you might start to worry about that kind of stuff. But we don't have to care about that at all.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So I saw issue 4 is out, and there's 250 copies available. It's only $6, including postage, to order in Australia. Like, I've got to ask, is that affordable for you? Is this like a money pit love project like the shit I put out there, or are you able to kind of get some kind of cost back with this thing? Like,
well, Nick, do you want to try and answer that one?
It's not the intent. If we can cover basic costs, that'd be great, but it's a labor of love. Like,
yeah.
We've both discussed it, and we don't care if it's going to be a money pit. It's enjoyable. It's a good contact as far as talking to the bands we really love listening to. But it's also, like, for me, it's exploration. Like, I've found so much shit that I didn't know about, just trying to find some good information about reviewing CDs or bands that Steve turned me onto because we were reviewing or interviewing them. And it's turned into a money pit in the sense of I've bought so much shit just in the last 6 weeks. It's awesome.
No, it is good. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's cool. How do you decide what to review? Like, are bands sending you stuff, or are you scouring the internet looking for stuff, or is like a combination? Like, how are you finding things?
Nick and I don't talk too much about this really, but we might actually have different ways of finding stuff to review. But the thing is, um, I just fucking look on YouTube, or look on Spotify. I'm like, oh, that looks good. I'll give that a listen or whatever. I do not own all of the things that I review. I just don't.
Yeah,
In the old days, like in issue 1, yeah, I owned all that stuff. Because that was the only way to get it. People would send it to you, you'd trade and you'd get it, and sometimes it'd be shit and sometimes it'd be great. But yeah, I'll just listen to anything and everything. I mean, if there's a review in there and I say stuff like this is fucking awesome, odds are I've bought it. I do buy a lot of stuff. And if there's a review there and it says I really like it, then odds are I bought it. Because I want to support the bands. But yeah, Nick, how do you find the stuff that you reviewed? Do you buy it? I mean,
most of it I bought, but then there was stuff that after talking to you that time about how you found music, and I started using YouTube, and then that sent me down the path of loved it, reviewed it, and then bought it. So I ended up owning it anyway, but. I've been using Bandcamp a shitload as well, just to really fine tune something that I wasn't quite aware of in order to either interview or review. So it's been invaluable.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, the scene's definitely changed. If you want to listen to something, it's just at the click of a mouse or on your phone. It's so slowing down and giving yourself time to listen to something isn't what it used to be. I mean, in the old days, especially when you're really young, you might have, well, if you're lucky, you might have like, I don't know, 40 albums. That's pretty good. If you're a teenager back in the old days, but you would know every one of those albums. And even if you bought it and you didn't like it that much when you first got it, you're going to fucking listen to it anyway, and it'll probably grow on you. But these days, if you don't like the first minute or the first 30 seconds, just fuck it off, get to the next one, yeah, it's changed a lot. So if I'm going to review something, I really listen to it 3 or 4 times, and try to give it a chance. But it's difficult. The scene is there's almost too much shit. At the same time, there's almost too much good stuff too. It's almost like everybody's figured out a formula for what sounds good, and they're all doing it. And everywhere you go, there's some good shit to hear. So it's hard to sort of sift through it all and find out, what really stands above it all. But I guess that's what the zine tries to do. It tries to help people give somewhere to start, because if you flick through the zine, there'll be some reviews or some interviews. That might be a place to start. Some bands to focus on. Give a listen. Give them a go and learn and know a bit more about the band than if you just clicked on YouTube and heard them. But there's just some thoughts and reflections around reviews and stuff and the way the scene's changed with accessibility.
Sorry, go on, mate. Yep.
I was just going to say the bands that are on there are the sum of those 12 bands that were pretty good, but then the 13th was fucking killer because it took 12 or 13 to get to that point because like Steve said, what used to be awesome 10 years ago, there's now 12, 20 bands that sound like that. Trying to find that one that's fucking pearler it's difficult sometimes.
Yeah. But like you said, that's the beauty of like a zine or something like that. You got like a curator almost, someone go like, check these ones out, that's cool. I chatted with Andy from Lord a little while back, and he was saying him and I do the same thing where if someone tells us about something or whatever, we add the whole album to like a playlist and then just hit shuffle, and then it's a good way to listen to a whole lot of shit, like, and be like, oh, that one, I want to listen to that one more, like that kind of thing. Anyway,
headphones on and just listen to it over and over.
I listen to a lot of Spotify when I'm like emptying the dishwasher, making the kids breakfast, with the headphones on. Heaps of Spotify. I mean, it might not be a convenient time for me to listen to Spotify, but if I'm reading about something or something catches my eye, like you to a degree, I'll save it or whatever and come back to it later.
Is there anything I should be checking out at the moment? Like you guys are obviously, listening to a lot of good stuff right now. What's something I should really, or a few things that you think are worth me, listening to?
Go first, Steve.
I'm a big fan of Mortuous in the US. They're not like a secret band or anything. It's
Yeah,
not like
no, that's all right.
a hidden gem. But yeah, they're fucking awesome, man. Just really good. Their first album just absolutely blew me away. And the second one is almost as good. So they're a band that I'm really getting into. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to have a look at the Day Inquisitor. They're really good. It's weird because they're from Denmark. Like most of their albums sound the same. Normally that's like, oh no, but they're all fucking good. So you know what you're going to get. I think they're a really good band as well that are consistently putting out good stuff.
Yeah, nice, cool. What about you, Nick? You got any recommendations?
Post just what we've issued, just in the last couple of days, I've been turned on to a shitload of demos coming out of, believe it or not, Indonesia. Just filthy, rotten shit. The last one that I really, really loved was Sigils of Ruin. They've got their first demo out, but
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
A funny story. I actually sent them an email for issue 4. I said, "Hey, this demo kicks ass. Let's do an interview." They said, "Yeah, all right."
And
I
then
sent them questions. They didn't reply.
God.
So I hassled them. I said, "Come on, you got them." But yeah,
man. Yeah.
It's funny, you were on to them, and then a couple of weeks later, I'm like, "Hey, fucking check this out."
That's funny, man. Yeah. Snail mail's definitely a cool way to, get zines and music. But are there any gigs or record stores selling Devoured Death Zine? Is it out there for people to just grab?
I don't think so. I mean, there's some labels.
Distros.
I mean, Sphere of Apparition in New South Wales.
Brisbane, Underwood, Jason.
Jason, in Queensland. They carry it. There's in New Zealand. There's a label in New Zealand. I probably should have written all this shit down.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, overseas there's like Hell's Headbangers, carry it. Everlasting Spew in Italy. Iron Bonehead in Germany.
Headbangers.
Extremely Rotten in Denmark. But as far as like Australia goes, definitely Sphere of Apparition, who I've been told are in Queensland. Yeah. Hello, Jason, if you ever watch this. But yeah.
Cool. And what's coming next? Like, obviously, issue 4 just came out. What's the plan for the next one, and what timing wise? Where are we sort of thinking we'll get the number 5?
Right. What do you think we should do, Nick?
Let's do Sigils of Ruin
again.
Yeah. Oh fuck. I don't know how we've sort of bought it up, but I don't think any of us got a lot of time to sort of maybe rush into another one right away. What do you reckon?
Look,
2 a year?
It's weird because leading up to this one finishing, which took a little bit longer than they normally do, I thought I need a fucking break. But now that's done, I'm like, I want to do another one. So if you're keen, Nick, I wouldn't mind getting another one out within like 7 months. I think it's bad timing to get them out, like November, December, January. I think that's a shit time of year, because Christmas, so probably, I don't know, maybe we can like February or something. Who knows? Yeah,
let's do it. Yeah, we'll build up a shitload of new music by then, and hopefully all the bands that take their time replying will have enough time to finish it.
Yeah, Sigils of Ruin. Yeah. Boy, they're really getting a big plug, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You better be in there now. They better get onto that. So what do people do if they want to get hold of the zine? It's obviously a snail mail deal. How do they get it?
Oh, good question. Sorry. Yeah, email us, like Nick said. Yeah, just send us an email, and Ben, if you'd be kind enough to include that, interview on the screen, just send us an email. If it's in Australia, like you said, it's $6. So if you just send me an email, I'll give you a PayPal address to send it to. If it's overseas, Nick and we don't charge anything for the zine if it's overseas, but you will have to pay for postage. So, we can't tell people overseas, give us all this money, we're not in it for money, it's just for the love of the scene and that. So if it's overseas, if somebody's going to the trouble to order it from overseas, you just give us the money for postage. So again, just send us an email. And also, if there's a label closer to you than we are, I'll just direct you to that label. So for example, if you're in, if you're in Poland, I'll probably say, just check out Iron Bonehead. So you'll get it cheaper from them than you would getting it from us. But like I said, if you get it from us and you're overseas, it's just the price of postage.
Yeah, too easy. No, good to hear, man.
That we've breathed on it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. It's got Aussie air and YouTube. Perfect, mate. Yeah. Awesome. Cheers. Nick and Stephen, thank you very much for your time. And all the best, man. I think I spoke to you earlier that number 4 is in the mail on the way. I'm looking forward to
no worries. Yeah.
Reading it in the flesh. And thanks a lot, you guys. That's great. It's really good. It's good work, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's good stuff. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
It's your time.
Yeah, cheers.
Hey, mate, see you soon.
Yeah.